Hello, so in this tutorial we're going to be using the CryEngine and virtual reality, and I think this is the only tutorial out there for this, so stick around, it'll be fun. So of course, you're going to want to download the VR code I have on GitHub. I'll post a link at the bottom. And of course, unzip it. Alright, I've already unzipped it, as you can see here. And you get all this stuff here. So if you've never programmed in CryEngine before, I recommend getting a little bit of experience with that before going through with this tutorial. Otherwise, let's go. So of course, we have our game plugin and go to the new folder, and we have all of our VR code. Don't worry, if it looks hard, it's not hard, I promise. So let's open up CryEngine launcher. Let's go ahead and make a new project. All right, let's create a project. All right, so let's do a blank C++. That's the best one for CryEngine. Yes, it is first person. You can also use first person, it's no problem. Third person, I think you could use anything that's C++, but the best one for this would be a blank C++ template. So let's create that project. I actually don't remember what I named the project, so that's no problem. We'll fix that later. I am recording. Yes. Awesome. So my project, no problem. So let's exit out of this. So now I want you to unzip that custom engine I gave you. I will be posting that in GitHub as well. So after you unzip it, it will look like this, right? No problem. Go to CryEngine release. Let's right click on it. Let's open it up with anything. I use Sublime. So here we go. No, I'm not going to buy you. Alright, so all this information, don't worry about it. It's just this. This is the ID I put on it. It has DirectX 12 on it. And this is the name. I put it as backup because I had just multiple iterations. So, remember this, right? It's alright. So now, since you've unzipped it and we have all the files and everything, just right click here, click Register Engine. Alright, so that'll as it says, it'll register the engine. So now let's go back to our project here, my projects, and my project again. All right, so we're good here. So now let's right click. Let's go to, where is it? Switch engine version and DX12 backup. Don't worry about all this jazz. I put it here. This is all testing. DX12 backup. Okay. No, I don't have anything in the project. So now we need to generate a solution. Alright, so generate solution. I'm using Visual Studio 2019. I haven't had any problems. And once again, if you haven't programmed in CryEngine, I highly encourage you to look at some tutorials before going through with this. It'll make life a little bit easier. Alright, so now let's open this solution up. Awesome. Great, so let's go to the project, game. Now we have everything needed here. But first thing, we're just going to open up game plugin. So now we're going to replace, copy and paste some code in. It's no issue, guys. It's easy, I promise. Back to desktop. Let's go to VR code, not Battlefield 1, no. Minimize you, VR code, okay. So we have our, no, go back. So we have our VR code, so this game plugin at CPP, so I'm going to open this in Sublime again, because it's just lightweight and easy. So Control A and Control C. This is just adding some flow graphs. So to get grabbed objects and change VR movement. Well, more like stop movement. We'll get to that in a moment. So copy and paste, copy here, so back to our project, Control A, Control V. This is on. This is it. All right. So now let's go to Components, VR. Let's add a filter, and let's put that in VR. There you go. All right. So now the easy part, right? So we have all of this stuff here. So let's just copy this. Well, not this part. Copy this. I'm gonna rename this VR. You guys download it. Don't worry. So let's Control C this, and let's go to our project directory. I'm just going to right click here, open containing folder, code, components. I'm just going to do this. Look at that, easy stuff. Okay, so copy and paste it into the component section of your project. So copy this. Even though it's here, it's not in the Visual Studio project. It doesn't see it, so we have to make sure it sees it. So copy this, click on this. It doesn't have to be in VR. It could be anywhere, but just make sure it's in components, and for organization's sake, keep it in VR. And Control V. Look at that. Now let's see if it will compile or if I'll be doing some live debugging while recording. So let's build a solution. All right, look at that. Compiled the first time. Unprecedented. All right, so we're good. So this was in debug mode. Let's put this in profile. I like profile better. It's faster, and I don't need all the symbols crap to go with it. Great. So let's do right click. We're going to right click editor. And we're just going to do set as startup project. So now when we click on this, it'll just start the CryEngine for us. So let's give it a shot. It will take a moment. All right, great. So now the fun part is turning VR on. Okay, so this tutorial is going to be for Oculus. I've only tested with the Quest 2. I have yet to try this with the Quest 1 or any of the Rifts. So if you have a Quest 2, this will definitely work for you. If you have anything below a Quest 2, you will be doing this at your own risk, and reach out to me and let me know if it doesn't work on those. That's important. I'd like this to work on all Oculus devices and Open VR devices, and we'll get to OpenXR later. I'll explain what's going on there. So turn on, I'm using a Quest 2, so I'm just going to turn on my Quest 2. I got to redo the Guardian, of course. So let me do that right quick. Confirm the floor level. Switch, confirm, alright, I am good to go. And I am also on an Oculus Link. I know you can tether it wirelessly now. I don't do that just because internet and speed and bandwidth, latency, all that. You don't want latency in VR because you will get sick. I remember. So now I have it all set up. So let's go to sys VR. Oh, it's not going to work. No VR device detected, right? We have turned the Oculus, in my case, Oculus Quest 2 on, but CryEngine isn't configured yet. So let's X out of this. All right. So let's go to the project. All right. Right click on it, and I'm going to open it in Sublime again. You could use Notepad. So, oh, wrong project. Dude, don't save anything. Let me just go ahead and X out all this. Save some time. So let's right click on here. Open with Sublime Text. Look at that. Okay. So think of it as you're requiring plugins, hence require. So you're requiring all these plugins, right? But there's no Oculus plugin yet because we have to tell it to require it. So with the engine I gave you, I believe I updated the Oculus SDK on there. I know for sure I updated OpenVR to the most latest one. So let's go ahead and let me get my undergrowth code. All right. So we're going to want to put this in there. All right. So see how it's in the require plugins? You want to keep it in there. Make sure you have these commas. If you're missing a comma, everything is going to crash. It won't even start up. It'll say it has a parsing issue. So let's go back to our project. And let's just put it right here. Easy place. Yeah. There we go. Let's format it a little bit. All right. Okay, so now type native Oculus VR. This is what makes CryEngine start up the VR API, or the Oculus API anyways. So if you wanted open VR, you just change this to open. But for this time, we're just going to do Oculus. So, alright, so let's save it, minimize this for now. I'm going to exit out of this. Alright, so we should be good to go. Now, make sure your Guardian, your Oculus is linked to your computer. Yep. Oculus is linked. In fact, I think you can see it here. Yep, we're good to go. So it's local Windows debugger. Alright, so see, I don't know, you might have missed it, but it said Oculus VR. It's loading up. So let's do sysvr1. Ah, look at that, no errors. So let's go ahead and create a new project, or a new level, more like. Level, let's call this VR stuff, or VR testing. Okay. Oh no. There we go. It doesn't need to be high quality, it's going to be pretty small. Yeah. Because there's not going to be anything on it. So no need to overcomplicate things. So, oh, look at this. A clean CryEngine map. Okay, so now we're going to get started. So the first thing we want to do is to move in VR. So exciting. So let's create an empty entity. Just place it down. And then we're going to go to add component. Indigo Effect, that's our company. We make CryEngine games and simulations. So let's go to VR movement component Oculus. All right. Click that. There you go. So let's add this. Let's put up 1.2 meters per second. That's the rate they're going to move. So now we need to add a camera. Same thing here, man. Indigo Effect, VR camera. There you go. So now we need to link these. So it is case sensitive. All right. So make sure this says HMD cam. Make sure these labels are important because it looks for these labels in the code. And it does the same thing for this. Body. It's case sensitive. Make sure these are like verbatim. So let's link HMD cam to body. And let's say I'm sitting down, so let's put 1.3 meters. Right? Okay, and I'll tell you about these settings later. So let's just see, make sure my controller is on. It is on, so let's see if it'll move. This is the money question. Let's put it up on the ground, make sure it's physicalized. Ah, look at that, it dropped. It is not moving this time. Not good. Hey guys, so the problem with the VR movement wasn't the code, it is with the plugin, and I completely forgot about that. So we've already implemented the Oculus VR, but one more thing we have to do is add the console variable for it. We want it to be one of the very first things to load when we load our project. So that's simple. There's something called console command and console variables. Add this into your game.cry project. So let me go back to the beginning and show you. Simple stuff, I promise. So excited this. So let's go to right click here. I'm gonna use Sublime. You can use whatever you'd like. And then at the very top here, you don't need console commands, but you will need console variables, and then add sysvr support. Set that to 1. All right, and that's it. So if you don't do this, what I was doing was correct, and it wasn't working because it wasn't getting the information needed from the plugin because it didn't initially load. So that's a simple fix. So let's get started again. So let's go to components, let's go to empty entity, right? And go to Indigo Effect. Let's add our VR movement component Oculus. Remember, we're in Oculus, not OpenVR, so it does matter, or else you will get some crashes, right? All right, so let me just go ahead and minimize this console, actually, or close it. Don't need it. All right, so Actually, we do need it. My apologies. Gotta make sure SysVR is on. It is. Don't worry, I was debugging for us, so don't worry about all this. So now make sure your Oculus is connected, and my controller just fell. Don't worry, it's alive. And our Oculus is connected, so let's go ahead and run this. Look at that, we can move it now. So remember, that console variable is so important that you load it at the beginning. So now we're going to add a camera. So I went ahead and made a modified camera for us with a little bit more capabilities than the one provided maybe 4 years ago. So let's go to Indigo Effect again, VR camera, place it down. And we need, this is important, make sure you name this body and then you name your camera HMD cam. No HMD, no underscore, it's HMD space cam. And then link it to your body. Right, so now, since it's relative, I'm going to be 1.3 meters high. Right, and let's see, look at that, we're moving now. We are up and going. You are officially a VR developer, congratulations. Alright, fun stuff. So now, but you can't, if you're looking through a headset, you're not going to see anything, or it might be a little wonky. So the easy thing is, go here, this monitor looking thing, go to stereo output first, always go there first. Go here, select VR headset, I already have selected, and then go to stereo mode, dual rendering. Alright, this is a little weird, I know, but bear with me. Now look into your headset. You should be able to see it. And one thing you might notice is that it's not culling correctly, right? So that's an interesting thing actually. So some VR headsets will have a better FOV field of view than others. So I don't remember what the Oculus is, but I do remember the settings for it, and I generally keep mine at 61 and 60, right? And the FOV, I keep it around 80, between 80 and 90. I'll set it to 88 here. And then the culling should be fixed for the most part. Yep. Right, but remember, if you look a little too high, you know, sometimes if you look high, the ground will disappear and you'll be able to notice. You just don't want that for your users. So you gotta select what's right for you. So, for instance, I think the Valve Index has one of the highest field of views compared to other VR headsets. So you'll have to adjust accordingly, and try to find a solution that fits all. You don't want to like program every single HTC Vive, Pimax, Index. You don't want to do that. Find an easy solution, and you don't want the field of view too high. What we used to do for undergrowth, and that's not the case anymore. I used to have it to 90/17 because we didn't know what we were doing at the time. And I would have this at 90. And let me show you what it looks like. Right? You can almost see 100, like what is it? It's over 90-degree field of view, even though we said it's 90 degrees. It has to do with the frustum. So when you're rendering more than 90 degrees, or you're rendering more than you can see in the VR headset, you're wasting your GPU processing power. Right? You don't need to render things you won't be able to see. So you want to select the sweet spot to where it's just right and you can see just what you need, or that you're rendering just what you need to see. So don't get a crazy number like this, all right? You'll have pretty bad performance. So this is a good number. I'll provide it for you because I'm a cool guy. I like to think I am. Yeah, that's about a good number. It's an eyeball, and there's no culling issues now. So we are now able to move, right? Cool stuff, right? So now, but where are the hands, Alex? That's an easy fix. So let's go to Indigo Effect again. Go down to VR, left controller Oculus. Just drag that in. That's all you gotta do. And let's go ahead and name that left hand. Right? And then the same thing for the right one. VR, right controller Oculus. You're not in Open VR yet. Same thing here. Let's name it right hand. We want to keep things organized. Alright, so, and then, look at this. Let's just show you. Look at that. I can move my hand now. Alright, let me get the controller that dropped actually so I can prove the right controller works. Alright, so let's run it again. Okay, we can do this, sure. Oops, sorry about that. This is the right controller. This is the left one. Look at this. This is so cool. All right, make sure it's in view because Oculus can be a bit of a pain sometimes. I'll admit. So look at that. We can now move our hands. Let me prove it again to you. All right. Oops. Oh yeah, we can move the hands, but you can't see them. So it explains why I couldn't see them. All right. So simple fix. All right. I need to. This is important. So let's go to the left hand. All right. Yeah. So I have advanced animations here for you. I can't provide a model or its animations because we had to buy it and make the animations. So it is copyright. So try and make your own, and if you can't, that's okay. This is just a tutorial, and we don't need any animations here. But if you would like to implement your own, go through the CryEngine tutorial, and it makes sense. And then here, let me go ahead and show you. Oh, this is the wrong code. By the way, this is available to you. Uncomment all of this. Uncomment all of this. You can point, you can grab, and you can make a fist, right? So uncomment this, and uncomment this. But mind you, you have to have the animation files to go with the model. So I'll be making another tutorial for this. Don't worry about it right now, but I want you to know it's possible. So, but we do need to know our controller is present, so let's add some mesh. All right, so let's make it small. It's supposed to be hands, 0.1, 0.1, 0.1. And same here, mesh. Oops, 0.1, 0.1, 0.1. All right, so now let's take the helpers off. Look at this. This is so cool. All right, and if you want to see it, in your headset, remember, go to the monitor thing, VR headset first, and then dual rendering. All right, so now moving is cool, seeing is cool, but we have to grab things too. It's the same like we just did actually. We just add the component. Indigo effect, left hand interaction. And same thing here, indigo effect, right hand interaction. Right? So make sure you keep them separate. Like this is your left hand, so you add left hand interaction. This is your right hand, so you add right hand interaction. Okay? If you put your left hand, say this is your left hand and this is your right hand, as right now, and you put left, and I change this to left hand interaction. Whenever it just won't work. It just won't work because it'll create two invisible proxy boxes, and then when you hover close to an object and you try and grab it, you just won't be able to grab it because it thinks your right hand is your left hand, so it's listening for your left hand controller input. It's just all sorts of wrong. So unless you want that for whatever game you're building, but right now just a tutorial. So we're not done quite yet. So we now need to make some empty entities. Okay. So I'll click. Oh no! I need to turn that snapping off. Oh. So, and this is case sensitive. So we're going to call this left hand placement. Okay, and then we're going to link it to the left hand. Same thing here. Control CV. Call this right hand placement. Case sensitive. It has to be spelled exactly, or else it won't work. And then that's it. Okay, so we could just make this 0. The same thing here. I want it to be close so we know what's going on. 0, 0. All right. No problem. So now we can grab things, but there's nothing to grab in the level, and of course, we got to make it happen. So let's go ahead and add. A rigid body. Rigid body. All right. Okay. So let's also give that rigid body some mesh. Now let's make this a triangle, or a pyramid per se. And let's scale it down to 0.1, 0.1, 0.1. And let's bring it up a little bit. 1 meter, that's fine. And so let's also turn this mass down. So how this works, when we hover over the object, we just press the trigger with either hand and we grab it. The left hand would glow orange and the right hand will glow blue. The object will glow anyways. So you don't want this to be 100 kilograms. That's heavy. You don't want that because when your hands are maybe, I think it's 10. Let's put it to 2 actually, 2 kilograms, and it's where you, and this is say 100. There's just going to be some balancing issues, and it's not going to be good, and it's not going to happen. Think of it like you're grabbing an actual light object. Because, and let me just show you an example, in fact. So let's go ahead and make it grabbable. So let's make this say, I could change the rotation per hand. So say you have a sword or something, you don't want the rotation to be the same for each hand, you can customize it. It's easy. It's in degrees, 20, and let's say 10, 22, no, 50. And the translation. So, for example, this is the x-axis, right? This is the y-axis. You only need to set it up for one hand. I took care of the rest for you. It adjusts. So, this left hand and right hand placement is important because this is where the object will be referencing to, right? So let's go into the code. Left hand interaction, right? This is a physical constraint. This is the code is right here. If you want to look at it, that's how it works. But it's a physical constraint, and they're just two objects being balanced out with each other. So that's why I said you want them to be the correct masses and as close to each other as need be, or else you will encounter some balancing issues. You'll try to rotate your hand, and your hand just won't rotate because it's still, in theory, hanging on to that object at a faraway distance. Because how are you going to have a 1 kilogram hand hold on to a 200 kilogram pyramid? Like, it's just not moving. It's not going to turn. It's not going to happen. So just don't do that. So I want this to be 0.1 away from the hand in all dimensions. Right. So left hand can grab. Let's hope I didn't forget anything. Let's give it a shot. Let's go into VR mode. All right. Oh, look at that. All right. So let's make it resting too. In fact, let's call it pyramid so we don't get it confused. If I even spelled that correctly. I don't think I did. No, I did. Yeah. Okay. So let's make it resting because we don't want to catch it. No need for that. Make life easy. Don't make it hard. Look at that. I grabbed it, and you see this is what I was talking about. It's too far away. You see this? It's just like floating in free form. These two masses are just fighting each other. Don't do that. Okay. So let's actually make the hand a little bit heavier, 10 kilograms. I think that's good. So let's make the pyramid. Pyramid weight is fine. Actually, make it 1. And then let's put it at 0, 0, 0. All right, let's try it again, but in VR mode. Okay, I can't see anything. There we go. See? Much better. Look at that. I can grab it and I can throw it. Throwing's a little difficult when you're in a seat, but that works. So that's how you grab things. And you can do the same thing with the right hand too. It's easy. Look at this. See, it's glowing. Oh, sorry about that. It is glowing blue, and you can grab it. Throw. See? All right. So that is the grabbing mechanics, right? Let's see what I'm missing. You can move. You can see. You can grab. You can do everything you need to in VR.